Need a reminder of the good in the world? How about ways that you can make a difference, all while following your passions? Then you've come to the right place. Here on Be the Good with Kate, I have the honor of speaking with people from across the globe and such a wide array of backgrounds, all with the common bond of following what lights them up while making the world a better place along the way. My name is Kate Chericello Tente, and I am so grateful you are here. If something in this episode resonates with you, please reach out. I absolutely love hearing from you. And if you're willing to spread the word, sharing these good news moments with others, a share on social, comment, review, or a text to a friend about Be the Good with Kate, all goes such a long way. Thank you. I've learned so much from all the guests on Be the Good with Kate over the years, and I hope you leave here with some nuggets that stay with you too. Here's to making the world a better place in any way, shape, or form. Welcome back to Be the Good with Kate. Today, I'm so happy to introduce you to Angela Calzone. She is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Inroads to Opportunities. And just by chance, she also happens to be a New Jersey resident, and this is a New Jersey organization. I promise I didn't do it on purpose, but it was a bonus when we got connected and discovered that we're not actually too far away from each other either. Throughout Angela's career, she's received many statewide accolades in recognition of her exceptional leadership, both as a serial entrepreneur and business professional. She has been among the finalists of New Jersey's Leading Women Entrepreneurs and Business Owners by NJ Monthly Magazine, celebrated among the best 50 women in business in New Jersey by NJ Biz Magazine, and nominated for Garden State Woman of the Year. Angela holds a Master of Arts in Corporate and Organizational Communications and a Bachelor in English and Business Administration. My gosh, that's a lot of accolades. And something I love that she wrote to me was that the happiest day was when she was able to bring her business acumen and experience into the social services agency to reimagine its business model, to position it for growth, sustainability, and to serve even more individuals with disabilities. Now, I don't usually give that long of an intro, but it just seemed right. So Angela, amazing all you have been doing. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you, Kate. I am so delighted to be here.
Oh, well, right back at you to have you here. Now, please tell us, we know the bio and the resume aspect. How did you end up with Inroads to Opportunities?
Well, I had a management consulting practice for about a decade. One of the many businesses that I had or begun in my lifetime, and Inroads. At the time, they were called the Occupational Center of Union County, New Jersey. They were a client of ours, and it's actually a funny story. I had a business partner, and his background was social services. So when we had started this business, we served the for-profit and the nonprofit communities. Of course, my focus was largely the for-profit companies because I come from professional services. And he was the social worker type, lived in nonprofits most of his career, etc. And we had gotten the assignment to do some training and a strategic plan for the then Occupational Center of Union County, Inc. And he was sick that day, wasn't able to come on site to do the work. So me being the business partner, jumped right in, got the work done. And have you ever walked into a place where you've never been before and you have that deja vu experience? And not only that, you've been here before, but oh my God, it's like home. And so I've passed through hundreds of businesses before and after and served many nonprofits over the years when we had that business. But this place always felt like home. And so for the better part of a decade, I worked with these wonderful people doing their strategic planning and business plan developments and board development. I even served on their board for a little while. And transitioned one CEO to the next CEO, and she was in her role for about 7 years, and I was her touchstone mentor on the business side of things because she had been also from social services, and came back here one day, and the CEO was, really considering her retirement, and I was really considering wanting to be back in New Jersey because at that point, most of my business was in Manhattan. And I thought, you know what? This is the way it was intended. I'm home. she thought, what better person to succeed me than a person who's kind of been hanging around us for the last decade and really understands the business side of things. Um, and the rest is history. So here I am.
Oh, that's great. And now please share more about what is Inroads to Opportunities? What does it do on a day to day? Who does it help?
We are this amazing nonprofit organization. We are based in Union County, New Jersey, but we serve a good part of northern and central New Jersey with our services. And our focus as a nonprofit that serves individuals with disabilities, and those disabilities can range from physical disabilities to developmental and intellectual disabilities, to blind and visually impaired uh, individuals. And we have a number of services here, probably too many to mention, but the majority of our services focus on ensuring the independence of individuals with disabilities insofar as if they choose to work and be a contributing member of society in terms of having a career, having a job, um, working part time, full time, working from home, starting a business. The emphasis here is on work
Mm.
because work leads to self esteem, work leads to independence, work leads to life enrichment. Um, and so that's what we're all about. I have a big sign in my office that my daughter had painted for me, and it's that four-letter word that I love so much, work,
Mm.
because work leads us to so many wonderful things. And so that's what we emphasize here. We have a supported employment department, which is a group of wonderful individuals who um, works in collaboration with the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services. And if there's an individual, again, depending on capability and their desires, if they want to get a job in the community, whether it's at a retail location, at a medical office, a warehouse, a manufacturing plant, a hospital, anything, a restaurant, food service, we're there to help them realize their goal. And once we are able to work with them to secure a position in the community, we stay with them. We don't abandon them at that point. We work with them in getting them onboarded to their new role. If they need support, we check in on them on the regular. Um, we're there to job coach. We're there to support in any which way they need us. And so we'll continue that relationship until they tell us, don't need you anymore. Thank you. This is amazing. Or in perpetuity for the life cycle of their career.
So then how does it look when you walk in the door there at Inroads? Is it set up in a way where you're training on site, or is the office more of like the contact and administrative and the people you serve are at sites doing on the job training, or some mix of
Oh,
both? Okay.
oh, right. So we have about 86,000 square feet here.
Wow.
So we also have some businesses internally that individuals can work on. So we have a full service cafeteria program here. So if an individual is interested in working at some point in their future in food service of any kind, they can come here. They can get a Serve Save certificate, training certificate. If they're interested in janitorial program, they can come here and get a Cleaning 101 certificate, and we can help them with job placement. Or if they want to just stay here for a while, sharpen their skills, get to understand what it is to prepare food, what it is to have kitchen safety. Um, they can stay in our program for as long as it's appropriate for them. So we have a number of different things here, excuse me, with which they can train in, or they can immediately go out into the community and secure a position. We also have mental health support services here. We have a contract packaging operation here, so folks learn how to work collaboratively in a team on an assembly line. Um, we've got pre-employment type or pre-vocational type programs here where we're getting individuals either in high school or just out of high school with disabilities, and they come and they get classes and programs and services on how to build your confidence, how to go on an interview. They get to job sample in the community. So one day they may be at Applebee's restaurant, the next day they're at ShopRite, the
Oh.
next day they're at a hospital, local hospital, and they get to observe and play around with what careers they may be interested in.
How do you get those connections? Like how do you get all these places to agree to have someone for one day here and one day here to get these experiences?
Right. Well, we are wonderfully supported by our local community, which has been such a gift. But we also have our staff who reach out regularly and sustain these relationships. So we've got folks that are, consistently in the community as employers who will call us when they have an open position, or they agree to be a testing and evaluation site for us. They may never have a job available, but they're like, you know what, we've got a local printing company. Come on in, and you can spend a couple hours a day here, and your folks can test and job sample, and so it's great. We have a lot of wonderful support, but we're always looking for additional sites as well.
Great, great. I'm
Mhm.
just curious because I'm starting to think of the pros are obvious of what is just so wonderfully mutually beneficial from both parties for having people as a part of their job sites. But now, are there concerns that employers come to you with before they start, if they've never done something like this, helped with job training before for
Oh, most
this
certainly. Yeah,
community?
most certainly. In fact, I often tell the story as a serial entrepreneur and business owner. Um, Years before I was exposed to Inroads, when I was approached with, hey, can we, it wasn't from Inroads, but it was another organization where I was located. Um, can we have one of our individuals job sample, or, do you have any positions available for an individual who happens to have a disability? And, as a business owner, my concerns were what we later turned into here, a marketing FAQ for all business owners.
Great.
And that my first concern is, how much is this going to cost me to accommodate this person? Or
Mm,
am I liable if they get hurt? And who's going to be there to help them? Is it going to be one of my employees that now can't do their own job because they have to help this person? And
mm.
how is this going to impact my customer flow? Is it going to reduce customer service? And I guess, all things come full circle, because as I come to Inroads all those years later and look at things statistically and really from the other side, I see what wonderful, dedicated, amazing, loyal employees so many of these folks are, um, and how it is completely the opposite of what business owners often fear or often see as challenges. Um, we don't, as business owners, talking with my other hat on now, we don't have to uh, have any extreme accommodations. We aren't left alone uh, to navigate and manage and train someone who may learn differently or may have an impairment that we're not used to having in our business. Companies or agencies like Inroads stay with that person, and they become a part of that employer's family as well, so they're there to help train. And an employer can always feel free to call one of our counselors if someone is struggling on the job, or they've been given a new task, um, or they don't know how to clock in and out. Our folks are right on the job there with that person, showing them how to do it until they get it, until they're used to it. So
Great.
it's really, probably as an employer or a business owner, it's one of the most exciting things you can invest in, because you get a very loyal, dedicated, eager, wanting to learn, wanting to be successful employee.
Tell me, what's the most, let's say, unique job you've ever placed?
Oh gosh. It varies. I mean, we have folks coming to us who have, master's degrees in technology, um, but, need certain accommodations, whether they have to be able to work from home, or they can't stand for too long, or whatever the issue is, to folks that, really struggled with special education in high school and are still struggling to read or do basic math. So it really runs the gamut. But just to be able to place people in positions where they feel satisfied, the employer is happy with their hire and their sustainability in the work, it's incredible. I
So
mean,
we always love a
we've
good,
got great stories.
yeah, and
Hmm?
we always love a story. So please, do you have anyone, without using names, a story of someone going through this program and experience that was such a positive outcome?
Well, we have two great stories that I
Great.
always love to share. So I'm so glad you asked me that
Oh,
question.
good.
So when I first got here a couple of years ago, they had placed an individual at gosh, I want to say it was like a Walmart or a home. I think it was Home Depot. It wasn't Lowe's. It was Home Depot in the area. And this person was a greeter, and and then outbound would check the receipts and make sure that what was in your cart was what you were actually leaving with. And he was very good at his job. And there was an incident on the site at Home Depot where there was an attempted robbery, and this individual foiled the robbery without going into any details. And so, he's got a job for life, I think, at this point. So
Nice.
so
Great.
that was pretty exciting. And then more recently, we had an individual come through our food service program, very shy, not certain what he wanted to do. But once he got into our cafeteria and started working with our trainers and his counselor, really seemed to blossom. I mean, he had tried a couple of other things, maybe some office clerical work and assembly line work. That wasn't for him, but something about food service just brought him to life. And now he graduated our program, got his Serve Save certification, and is working in the community in food service, and is just wants to tell everybody his story about how wonderful it was that he was able to find this program. And it not only became a program for him, but a lifelong love. And so he's a foodie, and he is enjoying his career in food service.
And that's such an extra special reminder too for all of us when we're interacting with someone and it feels like they haven't been able to find what lights them up in life. It's not giving up. We don't just keep going with the same thing over and over again. It won't change. But if we keep opening ourselves up to these new opportunities and trying different things, I mean, it goes in so many different ways in life. That's such great advice.
Right, right. And for all of us, regardless of whether we are
Yeah.
differently abled or not, um, I think you're right. I think we are so inspired when something lights us up and we want to do it all the more, you
Yes.
know. And so many people that you hear kind of are stuck in a job or stuck in a career and they're not open to trying something new. And that's what we emphasize here. Failing is okay. It's perfectly natural, it's perfectly fine, and it's a learning. So if it's not this kind of job or that kind of job that's right for you, we're going to keep trying until we get it right. And oftentimes we do get it right, and it's remarkable.
I love to hear that. And now, Angela, I have to ask you, what is the most surprising aspect? I ask this to everybody. I just love hearing all the different answers. What is the most surprising aspect of where your life is today?
Uh, I think how things are so parallel unintentionally. I have a daughter who is now 16 years old, and she was adopted out of New Jersey foster care. So I got her when she was a little peanut of a thing, and now she's this
Wow.
big, beautiful woman. Um, and she has some special needs and she has some disabilities. And I have learned so much from her that I've been able to apply here as a leader of this agency, and so much from this agency and the wonderful people that work here, the staff, the participants, and that I've been able to then bring home to her to be able to plug into the right services for her, or just be able to navigate our life together differently. So you know, things happen for a reason. And I think there's an intent to everything in life. And I feel like I'm living my best life with both my daughter and this agency because of the two of them.
Wow. That is such a beautiful way that all of this came together. I thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Angela, please share with us how we can find more about Inroads to Opportunities and all you're doing online and reach out.
Okay. Well, the best way to reach out to us or to even get to know us better is our website, and we are www.inroads2.org. Inroads2.org.
And that'll be in the
Uh,
show notes as well.
okay. Okay. And that tells you all about our services. We put lots of photos up there, lots of success stories. We have a lot of fun things that we do. In fact, coming this Friday, we have our participant picnic, which is always a blast. So we're looking forward to a lot of. I think we've got a hula dancer coming, and a lot of entertainment, a lot of great games and prizes. And the following Friday, we have our school to work transition graduation, which is always a wonderful ceremony and a tearjerker, truthfully, to
Mm.
watch these wonderful kids come in at around, 17 years old. And if you're an individual with a disability in the state of New Jersey, you can stay in high school until the age of 21. And so to see them graduate and move on to either employment or other programs that we have here is just remarkable. So that our next 2 weeks are going to be very busy, but it's always busy around here.
Yeah. Oh, that's so wonderful. I just had a flashback. I remember my next door neighbor I grew up with, he went through a similar type of a school and he just graduated a couple years ago and he after all that time and I remember hearing the stories about him going through workplace experiences and training and it blows my mind with all that just the extra layers of challenges in making all this happen, but you're making it happen and it's so needed and you're making such incredible changes in all of these people's lives. So thank you and thanks to Inroads for all that you are doing.
You. Thank you so much. Well, we couldn't do it without them. You've never seen more remarkable, passionate, committed folks because you're right. There's so many challenges and layers to having any kind of disability today. And while it's gotten so much better in terms of accommodation, the challenges are real.
Yeah.
And to be able to want to get up in the morning and be able to go to work or be able to go to a program, and many of them take public transportation or supported transportation to get here. I'm awestruck by their commitment and their dedication.
Oh my gosh, Angela, thank you. And to all of you listening, if you have a story you'd like to share with us, please comment where you saw this posted or reach out to Inroads or reach out to me. I'm sure we'd all love to hear from you. So thanks
Absolutely.
for listening. And Angela, thanks so much for chatting with me.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Kate. It's
tuning
been a
in. If
pleasure.
you found this helpful, a 5-star review, like, or comment means the world to me. And if you found insight in this episode, chances are someone else will too. Share with a friend to give them a boost today. Until next time, I'm Kate Chiaratello-Tente, and this was Be the Good with Kate.